Let's see what's inside. What?
Alright, boys. Let's get into the review. So, first card on the list. Call of Darkness. All monsters restored with Monster Reborn are sent to the graveyard. Oh my... There's no way. There's no way they did this twice. I swear. What is this one for? Wait, there's two anti-Monster Reborn cards that were printed? Why? We don't even have... Okay, you know, I can't cope with this shit. Get this out of here. Alright. Last minute cancel. When an opponent's monster declares an attack where you control an attack position monster, change all monsters you control to defense position. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, return any face-up performable monster you control that is destroyed by battle or card effect to the hand instead of sending it to the graveyard. Well, it's probably not going to be very good because it's a battle trap. We don't really like battle traps. We like to be able to activate our effects to stop your opponent playing the game rather than trying to, like, actually defend your monsters. So, it's probably not going to get played. Even things like Wall of D are getting, like, super niche now. Especially in, like, tournament play, you don't even see Wall of D anymore. It's just not played. So it's, like, it's unlikely you'll see battle traps again. Like this. I just don't think you'll see them again. The Weather Auroral Canvas. The weather effect monsters in your main monster zones of this card's column and its adjacent columns gain this effect. When exactly one card is added to one player's hand, except during damage step, you can banish this card. Banish the added card, and if you do, that player draws one card. Okay, so it's like a really bad draw knockback. Again, I feel like you wouldn't use this because you just use a floodgate or something to stop the card they searched for. Like, I don't know why you would use this really. Again, unless of course you can search for weather cards or something and this happens to be a card you just add to hand while you're comboing or something. I don't know. Robin Zombie. Oh. If your monster inflicts a battle damage to your opponent, send the top card of the deck to the graveyard. Oh, it's a continuous trap. Oh. Mildex. Mildex, you ready? Next. Magical Star Illusion. If your opponent controls a monster and you control as many or fewer monsters, monsters currently on the field gain attack equal to the combined levels of all monsters their controller currently controls. We ain't using this. If it was a quick play, you know, it might have a chance, but I don't think a normal speed spell like this is actually that useful. Breaking of the World. Once per turn, you can target one ritual monster you control. Show a ritual monster in your hand. Until the end of this turn, the level of the shown ritual monster becomes the target monster's level until the end of this turn. Even if this card leaves the field. Once per turn, if Ruined Queen of Oblivion or Demise King of Armageddion is ritual summoned to your field, except during the damage step, you can activate one of these effects. Draw a card or destroy a card. I mean, I'm not sure what the need for changing levels is until we see the actual ritual monsters, but it's probably not all that useful because we already have like skills that change levels anyway. I mean, it's not a terrible card, but I don't think it's something you would, like, guaranteed auto-include unless it's, like, searchable. So I don't think you want to use, especially, like, ritual decks where you'll rely so heavily on getting the consistent hand to actually do the ritual summon. It's kind of weird to run field spells and stuff that don't help do the summon in the first place. It kind of does help, but it's kind of niche in how it helps. It doesn't give you the ritual spell, the monster, or the monsters required for tribute, you know? The Weather Sunny Canvas. The weather effect monsters in your main monster zones of this card's column and its adjacent columns gain this effect. You can banish this card and tie one monster you control. Quick effect, attribute that target. If you do, special summon one weather monster from your hand or graveyard, but not with the same name attributed monster. Is it usable? Depends if the weather monsters want to be summoned from hand during the battle phase or something. I don't even know. And like kind of swap it out to dodge stuff too. Like if your opponent targets one of your monsters, you can swap it out. I had to see the other weather monsters to see if this is useful, because it's not a terrible effect, like, yeah. Especially, like, it can also be, like, a lethaling thing. You can swing into your opponent, then swap it over, and swing into your opponent again with the next monster, you know? Smile World. Oh god, look at this card art. Isn't that adorable, chat? What a cute card art. All face-up monsters currently on the field gain 100 attack for each monster currently on the field until the end of the turn. Well, that's it? That's such a minuscule amount on average. That's a tiny amount on average, what the hell? You can get more damage from a skill normally. But it makes people smile? Yeah, it makes your opponent smile. End of the World, wow. So this is the perfect card for 2020 then. This card is used to ritual summon Ruined Queen of Oblivion, or Demise King of Armageddon. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total levels equal the level of each monster. Exactly, okay, and that's literally all it does, no other bonus effect. Okay, well, obviously, you can't rate this card to see what it's trying to summon, right? It's gonna be there. Performapal Recasting. Reveal any number of perform monsters from your hand and shuffle them into the deck, then draw cards equal to the number of cards shuffled into the deck. Isn't this just a magical melon? Oh, +1, so it's like, it's not a negative magical melon. It's not even that bad. Because it's not even a negative, it's just a restart, right? Yeah, I guess it's just kind of... You might even play this card if your deck's not consistent enough. Why not? You don't lose anything from it. You just restart, get rid of the stuff that you don't want on your hand, get the cool stuff out. Illusion Balloons. A quick play spell. If a monster was destroyed during this turn while you controlled it, activate the top 5 cards of your deck, then you can special summon one excavated performer monster, also shuffle the rest back into your deck. Alright, so I don't like the fact that it requires one of your monsters to be destroyed to use it. That doesn't sound very good. Unless, of course, your archetype specifically destroys your own monsters. Otherwise, I don't think you'd use something like this. But obviously it can just be used as like a trap when your opponent destroys your monster, you activate this, you bring out a performer from your deck. That's kind of cool, I guess. Yeah, we're not using that. Let's just move on to this one. Skull Bird. Tucky plus Temple of Skulls for a 1900 attack winged beast. Get him out of here. Alright. Next up. Winged Dragon Guardian of the Fortress 2. They made a second one? This monster's wings are capable of generating tornadoes. God damn. You went sunbathed and got majorly sunburnt. Sleeping Lion. A ferocious animal that sleeps all day. Sometimes it's best to let sleeping lions lie. This card's very relatable, I would say. Very relatable monster, this one. Yo, it's me, Pog. Yeah, I guess the ear size does match up with you, Brad. I would say. A mysterious temple of skulls and bones that pulls in unsuspecting enemies. Garbage! Alright, next. Oh my god, another one. Tucky. This bird is known far and wide as the Harbinger of Doom. Damn, this fella is a Harbinger of Doom? He's too cute to be a Doombringer. Burning Algae. When this card is sent to the graveyard, increase your opponent's life points by 1,000. Back in the day, it was an FTK card. Oh, was it? Not bad reaction. Is that a card? It's a trap card though, so it's not a very good FTK. If it was a spell card you could use during your turn, you might be able to do some really amusing FTK with it, but yeah, otherwise you have to wait till your own turn comes back around. Poison Mummy. Inflict 500 damage to your opponent. 1800 defense. Oh, damn, it's nuts. Burn support. Oh, yes, the 500 damage burn. They could just use that lady that just, when she flips, she banishes cards and burns for like 1500 instead, or whatever, 800 damage, whatever she burns for. But no, Poison Mummy, let's go. Helios. Oh, we got this Helios stuff from the last box. You can special summon this card by tributing one Helios duo. Oh, sorry, the other one, okay. This card's same defense equal to the number of the ranged monster by times 300, the same as the other, just with an extra 100 attack now. After this card's attack, it can attack once more if your opponent controls a monster. If this card is destroyed or balanced into the graveyard, special summon it during the end phase. Still probably unusable, especially considering to summon this guy you have to have the first one out, special summon the second one on top of that, and then you can summon the third one. It's like, that sounds like a lot of effort we just can't be bothered doing, I'm afraid. The Weather Painter Cloud. If another face up with the weather card you control is sent to the graveyard, you can target up to 2 the weather spell and traps in your graveyard, place them face up in your spell and trap card zone. You can use the effect of the weather painter once per turn during the standby phase. After this card was banished from the field to its fate, the weather card's effect, you'd better summon this banished card. Okay. I mean, judging by the fact that all these weather cards like to tribute themselves, it's probably pretty good inside its own archetype, it's probably alright. I haven't seen anything though that's made me want to use this card yet though. There's no like sick weather spell and trap cards I particularly want to get back. It's not a bad card, I guess, but it doesn't really have any targets for it yet that I really care about, I'm afraid. So I think we'll move on from this one, until we at least see some weather stuff that's kind of usable. This doesn't seem like a bad effect. These guys are all just sending themselves to the graveyard like continuously, so activating this thing's effect sounds pretty easy to do. And it's activating up to as well, so it's like if you only have one in there, you can still use it. Oh, our first for hire monster. Bravo Fighter for Hire. During your main phase, you can special summon one for hire from your hand, except Bravo for Hire. If a monster for hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster except during the damage step, you can have all for hire monsters in the field gain 5 attack and defense. It just means like your biggest for hire could like now swing over a Blue Eyes or something. You can do that with like skills anyway. Yeah, I don't think it's really this won't bring for hire back. Don't get excited about this card. It's just kind of it's probably something you would run in for hire because there's no reason really not to, I guess. Especially with like half of them still being limited. There's probably a lot of spots still available for cards, but I don't think it's not something just seeing like, oh, for hire's back in the meta, boys. Let's go. Helmsman for hire. During your main phase, you can special summon one for hire monster from your hand, except Helm for hire. If a monster for hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster, you can discard one card, draw one card. So discard and draw. I mean, that's not a bad effect. Just draw, discard. I mean, again, it's like you might want to choose to use it for hire, but it's like, I don't know. I guess for hires also have like a bunch of rezzing effects. This guy combos with the rezzing for hire monster. Would you use this card? Probably. Is it going to bring back for hire? No way. No way in hell. When your opponent gains life points, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if you do, this card's attack becomes equal to the life points your opponent gained. You can tribute this card and type one face-up monster you control. It gains 1,000 attack until the end of the turn. So I don't see a use for this right now, unless there's other ways to give your opponents life points on this shitty little Algae. A Roam Mage counter? Let's go! Counter them, Roam Mage players. We got him. Alright, next. Performapal Bot Eyes a Lizard. Once per turn during your main phase, if this card was normal or special summon this turn, you can add one Odd Eyes monster from your deck to the graveyard. This card's name becomes the sent monster's original name until the end of turn. Aren't Odd Eyes cards kind of cool? Well, this could be a good effect. Depends on if Odd Eyes like the graveyard. Because if Odd Eyes like the graveyard, this card can send an Odd Eyes to the grave just instantly. Just gives you the search for it, so... It also changes its name to the name of that Odd Eyes, so I don't know if Odd Eyes is like a fusion deck or something and they need particular names. That could be kind of useful. Yeah, this card isn't a bad card, it just depends on what the rest of the Odd Eyes is like, so I have no idea what Odd Eyes do, so... We'll see. Oh, it's that... What's the turtle's name? Oh, it's a Franklin. Fucking Franklin over here. Once per turn, you can target up to 2 face-up monsters on the field, increase their levels by 1. Wow. There's probably some silly combos you can do with it, but I think you're not going to use it. It's unlikely. It'd just be you have to be like a silly combo to use with it. Like, oh, Xyz is probably good with it too, I guess, but we don't have Xyz yet, so I don't like to get too excited about that. Alright, we got Dumbo as well. The whole gang's here. If you control 2 or more performable cards, you can normal summon this card without attributing. If you cannot attack, you control another performable card. Well, you'll have another performable card using its effect anyway. When this card displays an attack, you return all spell trap cards your opponent controls to hand. They're not particularly useful because they can just activate the trap cards in response. It's not like a Hate Grenade or something, it's like a really bad Hate Grenade. Yeah, we're not using that. Next. Performapal Spike Eagle. Once per turn, you can target one face-up monster you control. If it attacks a defense position monster this turn, inflict piercing damage to your opponent. Oh, pretty similar to like this other card, but unless you have like an easy way to special summon it, you're not going to use it. There's literally spells you can use to just make something have piercing damage, so you just won't use this. Like, those spells already don't get play. So unless there's like a really easy way to summon this performable guy out to give something piercing, you're like, I don't know, piercing effects are so irrelevant anyway, no one uses that kind of stuff. Unless the monsters happen to already come with a piercing effect, no one usually uses piercing effects. No one goes to monsters because they have it. Like, the only piercing monster that's really used is like Purgatrio. Purgatrio and I guess the Blackwing cards have one piercing monster that's used as like a one-off. So no one cares. Alright, next. Performapal Sky Pupil. During either player's turn, you can turn one level 5 or high performance monster you control to the hand, special summon this card from your hand. You can only use the effect to form a sky on turn. If this card battles opponent's monster, that monster has its effects in the game until the end of the damage step. 4 damage calculations. This card attacks when this monster we control another performer monster to destroy that monster. Okay, I mean, not a bad card, I guess. Just kind of can swing into something, negate it, then pop it. You can use this to swing into something like a Cocytus, and it will negate the Cocytus, and then it will destroy the Cocytus, you know? Not a bad effect, I guess. Nothing too spicy, though, to make the other performers more, like, OP, though, considering all these other performers have been pretty crappy so far. You contribute 1 performer monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its level on the field times 100, so pretty useless effect. You contribute 1 performer monster, then target 1 performer monster in your graveyard. Other than the attributed monster, add it to your hand. Also a pretty irrelevant effect, I think. Yeah, if that sums up the performer monsters, I'm afraid these are pretty average. First X-Saber card of the box, we've got X-Saber Eurus. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you contribute this card, return the destroyed card to the top of its owner's deck. Well, you have to tribute it to use that effect? Oh god, go away. Next. The Weather Painter Rain. If this card is special summoned, you can place the Weather Spell Trap card from your hand face up in Spell Trap card zone. You can use effect for once per turn. Once per turn during the standby phase of the turn after this card was banished from the field to activate Weather Painter, you can special summon back to the board. Okay. It's got like one trap card for the target so far. I mean, it's not a bad effect if the rest of them are trap cards, I guess. But I have to wait to see the other trap cards, because if this is the only target, it'll be useless. But there's more targets that are actually decent. This will be a good effect, because it means you can actually use like trap cards on turn 2, which is kind of cool. Abaki. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard battle, both players take 500 damage. Wow, combo Abaki with the other burn card? Mr. Poison Mummy, you got a combo, boys. 1,000 damage. Let's go. Alright, Performer Revival. If a monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, we're summon. No, we're not using that. So far, these performers have all been shit, and battle traps like this are just like... This is not telling you a battle trap. You're probably going to destroy it with a card effect, so... It's like, no, we're not going to use this. There's no way. Performal Call. When an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, target the attacking monster, negate the attack, and if you do, add top 2 monsters from your deck to your hand, whose total defense is less than equal to the attack of that monster. All these are battle traps for. So lame. I mean, I can search for just about every performer monster though, because they're all like super low defense or whatever. Low attack, I mean. It just stops one attack. There's just no way. It's kind of slow shit. It's just not possible to use in Duel Links. There's no way. The Weather Cloudy Canvas. The weather effect monsters in your main monster zones of this card's column and its adjacent columns gain this effect. You can manage this card and type 1 face of monster on the field. Halve its current attack for the rest of the turn. But it can only attack directly this turn. Oh, but it can attack It can attack directly. What's wrong with my goddamn Inglando? So you can target opponent's monsters with this, which is like the useful thing, right? Swing directly with yours, or make one of your opponents half its attack. You can't do it during the damage step. So they can redirect to hitting you directly, right? So probably not all that great. It's not terrible though, it's something you can just put out and be annoying with. Especially because it's probably the better ones of the weather cards I've seen so far anyway. It's actually like usable. I think we're going to do a... Say this one's like not making the deck so far. Not a terrible effect, I guess, but there's got to be better stuff to make this deck work. This is not it. This is not what we're looking for, boys. This is not what's gonna make these weather boys pop off. Core Overclock. Oh, Koa'ki Meiru card. What the hell? All face-up Koa'ki Meiru monsters you control gain 500 attack. Once per turn during your main phase, you can discard one Iron Core face-up monsters you control gain 1,000 attack. Yeah, I don't think this is bringing them back. You get 1,500 attack buff to all your boys though. You could run this as like a one-of in Koa'ki Meiru, just like some random big attack on one turn with some like 1,500 on all your monsters. That's quite a big boost, I guess. Yeah, maybe you do use this as a one-of and just have it as a searchable option. That's a pretty big stat line, and Koa'ki Meiru does flood pretty easily. They get that 2,000 attack guy out that searches special summons guys. It's 2 monsters you can give 1,500 attack buffs to. That's pretty big. That's an extra 3,000 damage if you have 2 monsters. And 4,500 if you have 3. That's pretty nuts. Diamond Core searches for any card, right? So can't Diamond Core to search this if you want it? So I guess you just use it as a one-off. This card is used to ritual summon Ruin... Oh, so it's another card, another ritual spell. Okay. You must also tribute monster in your hand field whose total levels equal or exceed the total level. Okay. During your main phase, instead of turn, this card was sent to the graveyard. You shuffle this card into the deck, add one End of the World from your deck to the hand. Then you can add one Ruined Queen. Okay, so this lets you add the other spell, the one that has no effect. That's kind of useful. Okay. Massive recycling there. That's pretty decent. That's really good. Recycling power is always great. If you don't have to use resources to summon stuff, you generally have lots and lots of card advantage, so that's pretty good. To be fair, yes, you are right. It does have to be from field. That is true. But that shouldn't be too hard if you have like if you just have level augmentation or something, it'll probably be easy to do. Level duplication or augmentation, whichever one, it'll probably be alright. The Weather Painter Thunder. You can send one face-up continuous spell trap you control to the graveyard, play some weather spell from your face-up in spell trap card zone, so it's similar to like a Fire Fist effect. You can use this effect once per turn. Once per turn during the standby phase of the turn after this card was banished from the field, to activate the weather cards, instead of summon. Oh, so it's literally just the same as that Fire Fist monster. So I assume you would use this card. It's like, no, if it's use the same amount as the Fire Fist card is, which is like a staple, and I guess you'd use this one as well. Just a search for any of them, so why not? Oh yeah, it places them face up too, so you can use the trap card straight from decks. That's also another big thing I missed. Yeah, it's great. You definitely use this card if the weather deck's actually decent. As so far, we haven't seen very many decent weather cards yet, outside of like their monsters. The spells and traps are a bit You're like an anti-search card, which might be usable since now that we've seen that like all these monsters search. We had like 2 different searches now. I guess you can at least use this as a one-off to stop some searching effects. You might as well. Hunter Owl. This card gains 500 attack for each face-up wind monster you control. When you control the face-up wind monster, your opponent cannot select this card as an attack target. 2 Hunter Owls and you can't get attacked, or maybe it's just dumb. We had that with For Hire had that. For Hire had that effect ages ago. You had the 2 big taunt monsters and you'd stop your opponent attacking. Although I think that monster got limited because of that, so but that surprises me they would release something like that though. Whatever. I don't think it's gonna be some meta thing that people are gonna use because you can still just destroy it with battle. It was you know, and card effects. I'm actually just dumb. Alright, move on. The Weather Painter Sun. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send one face-up continuous spell trap you control to the graveyard, spell summon this card in defense position. If you do, place one the Weather Painter from your hand, face up in spell trap card zone. Use fate swim pay once per turn during the side phase. Yeah, I don't think we're going to use this card very much. So would we use this card? I don't think so. You have to have it in the graveyard to already use its effect, so that doesn't sound all that great. I think the other Weather Painters have been so much better than this that you just wouldn't use this one, right? We've already got a card that can just do it straight from hand anyway without having to have like some special summon from grave mechanics, so I think we just don't use this. Alright, next we've got Simorgh, Bird of Calamity. When this card is normal summoned, you can send one Simorgh card from your deck to the graveyard, except Simorgh Calamity. Okay, that's not a bad effect if they like graveyard stuff. If this card is sent to your graveyard and your opponent controls no cards in the spine trap card zone, you can spell or summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. Oh. Okay. Also, you cannot spell summon monsters the rest of this turn. Oh. Oh, except Winged Beast, never mind. Saved. That was a big mixture of emotions right there. You can use the effect of Simorgh once per turn. Okay, so your opponent has no spell and trap cards. So if this is like turn 1, this is Pog. You can do like a Synchro Summon with it. It comes back again. Synchro Summon again. You could use this to Synchro Summon into the level 6 boy. The one that's his tuner monster. Then you bring this one back and summon into a Winged Beast of some kind. So, sounds pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You could use this with like the Psychic Tracker duo. You summon this guy, summon the Tracker duo, Synchro Summon into the level 6, bring back the other levels, bring back this guy again, Synchro Summon again to the big one. It's really good on turn 1. Turn 2 it's a lot worse though, because obviously your opponent just sets some back row forehead and then you just have a dead card in your hand, so. Simorgh, Bird of Protection. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one face-up card in your opponent's spell and trap card zone, return it to the hand. If this card is in your graveyard and your opponent controls no cards in their spine trap card zone, you can special summon this card in defense position and banish it when it leaves the field. Also, wait, another card that needs your opponent to have no spell and trap cards. Okay. Is that what this whole type's about? Making sure your opponent has no spell and trap cards? Was you can special summon first turn except Winged Beast. Okay. I don't like that it's a normal summon to use the proccing effect, but if it's searchable, it's something that might be usable. Because this kind of effect of like summon something, return something to hand isn't really that bad of an effect, like back row removal effect. If it's like something you can search for. Because I know like Fortune Lady has this kind of stuff. We had it in... there's been tons of like archetypes in the past that have had this like small just remove one back row kind of effect when they're normal summoned. Yeah, so like effects like that aren't actually that bad. So like if it happens to be just a searchable card, people probably just run it as a run off anyway, just because it's searchable back row removal, so you might use it. Its effect isn't that strong though, especially I guess it's also if the whole deck relies on your opponent not having back row, it's another reason to use this card. Alright. Koa'ki Meiru let's say Berserk. During each of your end phases, destroy this card and send one iron core to the graveyard. Or reveal one warrior type monster. If this card joins opponent's monster battle, it can attack again twice in a row. We don't really care about that. Only time I guess again you could use this as a one-off just because it's easily searchable and special summonable by the other Koa'ki Meiru card. So you can use this, special summon this guy. Attack twice, swing for lethal. You can use this in combination with the big buff attack effect and make this guy like a trillion attack and then just swing twice for a ridiculous number. But these things are only like one-offs, I assume. You wouldn't just run this as your deck type, so... And I don't think it's something that's necessarily going to bring back Koa'ki Meiru either. Philo, Messenger for Hire. During your main phase, you can special summon one for hire monster from your hand except Philo Messenger for Hire. If a for hire monster... Or if a monster for hire is special summoned to your field while you control this monster except during the damage step, you can target one monster for hire in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position. Place it on the bottom of the deck if it leaves the field. So it just brings back another for hire. I guess like the main issue with it though is that it has 0 attack, so it's like... It's literally just being used like a res effect. It does combo pretty well with the other one though, the discard draws, I guess. So that's probably a combo. And it's probably something you could consider using, but again, it's not... all these for hires aren't going to bring back for hire, right? Old Eyes Dragon. If this card destroys an opponent's battle and sends it to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of that monster. Hey, if your opponent summons a monster with an original attack of 4,000, PogChamp. I don't know. You're not using this kind of stuff. No way. Performal Friend Donkey. Wow. Chat's first friend. Boys, we can have a friend. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 or 4 log for monsters from your hand or graveyard. Pog! Not even a bad effect! If the other performers weren't that garbage, because I think they're pretty average. Wait, you could, Exceeds with it, right? It's level 4. It's level 3. You can Exceeds with this. PogChamp. Performal Swordfish. If this card is no... Is he holding us? He's actually just a... Okay. If this card is normal special summon, all monsters your opponent currently controls lose 600 attack and defense. If you special summon a monster we control this card, all monsters opponent controls... Oh, so it just makes your opponent lose 1,200 attack and everything. 1,200 attack debuff probably isn't enough to make something better. We need like actual like removal rather than debuffs, but... Performal Thunder Rhino. Monsters your opponent controls cannot target face-up perform monsters for attacks, except this one. If one card you control except one monster will be destroyed by card effect, this card in the graveyard and banish this card instead. Okay, so this card's in the graveyard, you can protect your other performals. Too bad I haven't seen any decent performals yet, but so far, like, I don't really know what here would you... I don't even see what you'd want to protect here. Was there any, like, big one? That was the elephant. That was kind of big. Yeah, there's nothing you want to protect with it so far, so I think we'll just move on. Performal Flip Hippo. When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one perform monster from your hand, but it has its effect negated until the end of this turn. Once per turn, you can change all monster opponent defense position. Okay. Alright, well, this card could be another Xyz card, I guess. Another Xyz card, let's go. I don't think there's any reason to use this yet, because I haven't seen a tuner in here, and since the effect's negated, that kind of makes it pretty irrelevant. So unless there's a tuner in here I've missed, there's no reason we're using this just yet. Performal Skeeter Skimmer. Skeet. When this face-up card is tied up for an attack, you can change the attack to a face-up defense position monster, and if you do, negate the attack. Absolutely useless. Absolutely useless. Let's move on. Infernity Randomizer. Once per turn, while you have no cards in your hand, you can draw one card and reveal it. For a monster card drawn with this effect, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the level of that monster times 200. For a spell trap, you can take 500. You take 500 damage. Isn't the idea to have no cards in hand anyway? Why do you want to, like... Do you really want to draw cards with Infernity? Because I don't think this is, like, all that exciting. There's got to be better ones in here, because this doesn't like help start off your combo or anything. I guess most of the Infernity cards are like searchable though, so I guess you might run it as a one-off because it's searchable, but I don't think we care. Ruin Angel of Oblivion. You can ritual summon this card with Cycle of the World. This card's name becomes Ruin Queen of Oblivion while it's in your hand or on the field. If this card's ritual summoned, it can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase this turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one which monster you control. While it's face up on the field, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when which monster declares an attack. A pretty low stat line though. If you ritual summon this along with like a boss and make your boss monster armageddion, I guess. But battle traps aren't really that usable anymore. What? Battle traps aren't really that useful anymore, so it's like you don't really. There's like a reason armageddion has fallen off, right? People aren't using Wall of D anymore; they're using Floodgate. It's like that kind of style effect is pretty irrelevant. Unless of course there's an attack buff in here somewhere, and you buff this card up since this thing does make 2 attacks. Combo it with the Cyber Angel card that gives it 1,000 attack, and there's a 2,700 that can swing twice. I don't know. I don't think it's all that great. I think we'll wait till we see the other ones to see if the deck's pog or not, because this one certainly isn't making the deck pog for me. Demise Agent of Armageddon. You can register this card with Cycle of the World. This card's name becomes Demise King of Armageddon while it's in your hand or field. If this card's for a summon, destroy one face-up monster on the field. Okay, that's a better effect. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one monster you control. While it's face on the field, your opponent can activate cards of face to the enrich monster effects. Okay, so it stops your opponent activating stuff in response to your ritual monsters. So they can't just negate them. That's probably about all that's useful for. Okay, well that's not a bad effect. That one's okay. I assume like we're gonna try and chain ritual monsters into each other. I assume that's the aim. Like you use this card on these ones to summon the big one or something. This one might be okay. I think the second part of its effect is kind of not that useful because we don't really have that many. I guess there's a few negates in the game now currently, especially like Blue Eyes being meta, and Blue Eyes likes to run the negate trap, so I guess it's useful for that. Alright, let's move on to the SRs. So I think this one's playable, but yeah. First SR, we have Saber Hole. Activate while you control a face-up X-Saber monster. Negate the summon of a monster and destroy it. So just a negate. Gladiator Beast had a similar negate trap, and it took forever for Gladiator Beast to be meta. It just took other cards. So this card by itself isn't going to make the meta. They definitely need other stuff but this. This is just like a solid little negate, but I don't think it's definitely not enough. It's not enough at all. Either way, I don't think it's enough to make, unless like, again, if searchable makes things a lot more playable. So if X-Saber have a searchable thing that just searches this on their turn 1, so you just always have this on your first turn, that makes it infinitely more better. Otherwise, it's not like the Blackwing trap where you just have it in hand. It's like a hand trap and it's summons a big monster from your extra deck or something. It's just kind of, it's not enough to make a deck playable. They can already run negates in X-Saber if you want them. There's no way this helps the deck actually become playable unless it's easily searchable or something. The Weather Thundery Canvas. The weather effect monster in your main monster zones of this card's column against its fate. At the start of the damage step, this card bounces opponent's monster. You can banish this card, return the opponent's monster to the hand. Okay, solid removal. Solid removal. It's kind of concerning that it's a battle effect though. But this is really easily searchable. You like always have this on your turn 1. It's kind of cool that like it also works if your opponent swings into your monster, so they actually have to remove this. It's kind of like the Amazonas trap. Like if they don't get rid of it, they're gonna like really struggle to play the game. So if they don't have any removal on their first turn, they're gonna struggle a lot. I don't know. I like the card, but you kind of compare it a little bit to like the Amazonas trap, a little bit, but I don't. I think it definitely needs more stuff to make Witchcrafter good. This is a good start though. This does definitely help the deck, and you'll always use this card if you're playing Witchcrafter. It's a good card. It's just, it's not something that's going to make me go, holy shit, Witchcrafter PogChamp yet. Then we have to move on to wait for the PogChamp. I see one that's sitting up here. We'll always wait for that one to come along, I think. Gotem's Emergency Call. Right, if a face-up X-Saber monster is on the field, target 2 X-Saber monsters on the field, and the graveyard split or summon both to your side of the field. Very slow. It's a pretty decent effect, but it's very, very slow. I don't think we care for this. That's too slow. I don't want to be waiting until my next turn to play the game. You want to play on your first turn. This is like one of those things where like if you're already able to get off your Synchro Summon, it's Pog. So it's like kind of a win more card. Because if you're already able to get off your Synchro Summon, then you can use this card. Otherwise you can't. It's probably better to just be able to enable your like initial synchro plays than try to rely on follow-ups. And I just don't see it being that useful. It's just it's got to be better to try and synchro summon initially in the first place and have like disruption traps to stop your synchro dying than having stuff that's for if your synchro does die or if you want to bring back to synchro summon again. It's got to be better as from like a floodgate, right? It's just got to be. The Weather Snowy Canvas. The weather effect monster in your main monster zones of this card and adjacents gain the effects. You banish this card and weather card from your deck, or add one weather card from your deck to your hand. Or so you can add cards from your deck to your hand this turn, except by drawing them. Okay, so a search card. Well, it searches anything, so that's pretty sick. Alright, so it's obviously a good card. It's a sick card to search for anything, but so far I'm still waiting on the Witchcrafter that's going to make the deck PogChamp though, because currently if this is the only way you make your deck strong, it's not going to be good. If this is the only thing you have, it's not going to be good, I don't think. Alright, Simorgh Onslaught. Discard one Winged Beast monster, add 2 Simorgh monsters with different attributes from deck to hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard, reveal one Winged Beast monster in your hand, and if you do, reduce the level of monsters in your hand with the name by 1 for this turn. Adds 2 by discarding 1. That's a pretty good effect. To be fair, it is also like you just don't lose any value from it because you get rid of it and discard 1, add 2, so it's 2 for 2. That's a good effect. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. There's your search for any of your Simorgh card. I don't know how to pronounce it. Simorgh stuff. Infernity Launcher. Once per turn, you can send 1 Infernity monster from your hand to the graveyard. You can send this card to the graveyard and target up to 2 Infernity monsters in your graveyard, special summon them. Okay. Help you empty your hand. And then it can bring back Infernity monsters that you send to the graveyard. And it's an up to effect. So you can send this card to the grave and bring back that monster you sent, or bring back other ones. Helps you discard and it pops off. Yeah, definitely a 3 of. Definitely a 3 of. It's 100% a 3 of. Card is nuts. The fact it's not written like the Lightsworn stuff, like Lila, where you have to discard and then target something, so you can't technically choose the card you discard unless you already have a target in the grave, makes it so good. You can just remove something and then later on, bring it back. Watch Cat. Let's move the screen back over a bit. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. During your end phase, if this card was special summoned this turn, you can banish this card, set 1 continuous spell directly from your deck. Okay. I don't think I can think of a continuous spell that you'd want to use it for, especially considering it sets the continuous spell. What? It's like you're searching for something that can't be used though. You're searching for like something to then set itself during the end phase. So you search for circle and then circle's face down, so you just kind of get clapped. I don't know what the point of that is. Simorgh, Bird of Beginning. When this card is normal summoned, you can activate this effect. During your main phase this turn, you can normal summon 1 Simorgh monster in addition to your normal summon set. That's pretty good. It gives you next normal summons. Use it like a tribute summon or something, or whatever. Wait till you read the boss. I assume that's what I have to wait for, especially if the boss is like a tribute summon thing. So this card seems pretty good, but I don't really know what its like purpose is yet. It's not a bad effect by any means. It gives you an extra normal summon, so it's literally just giving you like a free card on the board that can also use itself when it's in the grave to come back again. But I need to know what the effect use is of it, like why you want this extra monster on the board. Odd Eyes Saber Dragon. If this card is in your hand, you can tribute 1 light monster. Send 1 Odd Eyes Dragon from your hand, deck, or your side of the field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. When this card is destroyed, destroys monster by battle, so it's graveyard, you can destroy monster from your controls. Well, it's not, the effect isn't exactly very great. Similar to like the Math Mech effect, which you saw that Synchro monster just didn't get touched, because it's really bad. Again, non-target, but really don't care, because it's just it has to swing in first, has to get through your opponent's monsters, has to get through your opponent's backline to be usable. So I'll give it a fat, nah, we're not using this. We need some more Odd Eyes to make this playable. Currently, not playable. Ribbon of Rebirth. During the end phase, if the equipped monster was destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, this turn, special summon it from your graveyard to your side of the field. Also, you can use this on your opponent's monsters. That makes it kind of cool, I guess. Yeah, I think this is the ultra you don't want from the box though, because I don't think we want it that much. It comes back during the end phase. The end phase has to be destroyed by battle. It's like, ugh, it's 2 like really bad like downsides to it. 2 bits of fine print that just kind of kill the card for me. The Weather Painter Snow. When this card is normal summon, you can place one the Weather Painter from your deck face up on your spell trap card zone. You can use phase once a turn. Once a turn during the standby phase, turn banish. Okay, so it's the same as the other stuff. So this one is literally just bring a card from deck to build. So you are like fully reliant on this trap card. I feel like this like to me it looks so much like how Amazonas felt. But you're just heavily reliant on one card. I guess to be fair, you can get multiple copies of this thing out. No, you can only control one Weather Hunter canvas. You can only control one of it. It seems like you set up a pretty sick like turn 1 board, and if you go second, you're probably gonna struggle a bit. I guess I don't know. And I don't think I really don't see this deck being good purely because I just compare it so much to Amazonas and how Amazonas just isn't good. It's got to be similar. It's got better recycling power than Amazonas, I guess. Oh, so it makes you think about card positions. Like, come on, man. I don't want to think while playing Yu-Gi-Oh! God, the effort. Boss monster, Simorgh of Darkness. While face up on the field, this card is also a wind attribute. Okay. You can only use each effect once per turn. If you tribute summon a dark or wind monster, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Okay. If this card was, if it was there when the monster was tributed or hand, even if not. Okay. When a spell, trap card, or effect is activated, quick effect. You can tribute one swing B monster, negate the activation if you do destroy it. It's not a bad effect, but it's kind of like sus that it's only stopping spell and trap cards, right? There's probably some sick decks you could put this in though. I guess that's why you use this card too, because this card gives you an easy tribute summon, then you can just special this thing. Okay. Alright, move on to the next one. Okay, so I'll review this. I think I'll review them both together, because I like this card a lot, but I feel like it's like spell and trap card negation alone isn't going to be a deal breaker for a lot of decks currently. When this card's normal summon, you can add one Simorgh card from your deck to your hand, except Simorgh Bird Bringings. Okay, if this card is in your graveyard and your opponent controls no cards in the spell and trap card zone, you can summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. Oh, it's just a search. Okay, so you can search for it too. So the aim is you summon this thing, this big like negate thing, and you summon all these guys back from the graveyard, I guess. If this is your boss, I don't see it being meta without other stuff. It definitely needs to be something else to make it meta. This card is really good though. Do we already have a boss good enough for them? Simorgh. Oh, we have two, do we? Do we have this? Oh, we have two. Okay, so what's this one? Level 7. This card can be special summoned. If you tribute summon this card, all tributes something weird. Each player takes 1,000 damage during each turn phases. While this card remains on the field, the damage is decreased by 5 of each spell trap card the player controls. Okay. It's a big boy, but doesn't really do anything too helpful. What about the other one? Both players tribute summon wind monsters for 1 less tribute than required. If you tribute summon this card by tributing only wind monsters, return up to 2 cards your opponent controls to their opponent's hand. Okay. So there's some removal that's pretty good. And you can use it on back row as well. So I guess if you already have like this guy in hand, you could just use this thing, search for this guy, summon this guy, and you have 2 tributes for that one, return 2, and you can also summon this guy as well. So I'll leave you with remove 2, summon this dude. There's a lot of stuff you have to like already have though, and we do have like Simorgh outright that can search for like any of these that can help be really good at deck fixing. That's 2 really good hand fixing cards. I'm really concerned that this is like only spell and trap card negate. Because if we let's have a look at a tier list for a second. What deck would that be like super good into? Witchcrafter wouldn't really care, because Witchcrafter would just be like, just use their monster, right? They can just buff their monster, it doesn't actually require that. Blue Eyes don't care, X-Saber kinda care, field spell. Of course Neos cares, Shiranui, I guess I'll care for the fusion spell too. Shiranui don't care, Crystron don't care, Dark Magician definitely cares, Mastery definitely cares, and Ritual Beast don't care. I don't know. It seems like it might be alright, but I just don't know how much I like spell and trap card negation currently. I think monster negation is so much better. It negates spell, trap, or effect, not monster effect. No. Spell and trap, when it says negate spell or trap, it means negate, it says, where is it written? When a spell, trap, card, or effect is activated, it doesn't mean spell or trap card or monster effect. It means spell and trap card activation or spell and trap card effect is activated. So like, if a continuous spell activates, it can negate that. I think is that what it means, right? So if it has like the Black Queen continuous spell, will negate that. I think that's what that means. It doesn't mean all effects in like all monster effects or all other card effects. It just means it will negate spell and trap card effects. Anyway, X-Saber and Weather. If this card inflicts damage to your opponent by a direct attack, discard one card from your opponent's hand. This card, it's a tuner monster, I guess, but I'm not really sure, like, do we have, we already have like a level 3 X-Saber tuner, so I'm not really sure what we need this for. If this and the trap card's all they're getting, I don't think the deck's going to be very good. Alright, now for the pod card that everyone has been spamming my Discord about. Infernity Archfiend. When you draw this card, if you have no other cards in your hand, you can reveal this card, special summon this card from your hand. When this card is special summoned, you can add one Infernity card from your deck to your hand. If you have no other cards in your hand. So you get this boy, send it to the grave with Infernity Launcher, then use Infernity Launcher to bring it back. You can search for absolutely anything. You can search out the big negate trap that we're probably getting as a reward. Not sure. Oh yeah, you can literally just chain it into launcher. So you use this, chain launcher, search launcher, launch again. Absolutely disgusting. Alright, well, I think it's pretty obvious this card's going to be nuts. There's not much need to be said about it. It's not a once per turn effect. You can send it to the graveyard with launcher. You can then search launcher with it. It just main combos with launcher. You just do all these dumb loops with this thing, and this pops off. Discards your whole hand, searches your entire deck, and you're just happy. Yeah, so you just end up with a bunch of synchro plays out of it. It's really, really cool sounding. I don't know. I really want to see this deck in action, because I've never seen like a full power Infernity pop off. So really interesting to see this card pop off and do stuff. How many synchro summons you can actually do in one turn with this kind of shit. It's kind of worrying that this is like, there's no search for this in particular though. So you have to have like, if you don't have this in opening hand, I'm not really sure what your like main play is with Infernity. Ruin Queen of Oblivion. You can withdraw summon this card with End of the World. When this attacking card destroys opponent's life battle, you can activate this effect. This card can make a second attack. Oh. Okay, so it's just a thing that can hit twice. Right. Just a bigger version of this one. Okay. You can summon this card with End of the World. You can pay 2,000 life points to destroy all other cards on the field. Oh. A big fat board nuke right there. Demise with the red skill that doubles damage. Oh, the Rex skill. Whenever the player has double more life points, the other takes double the damage. Oh no. Oh god, you summon this on turn 1 with Rex Raptor? Bam, they're gone. Sit down. This could be the most absolute just ooga booga deck around. It's gonna be summon big boss, me hit face, the opponent die. It's so fucking degenerate.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob? Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis. Oh.